Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast Wrestling Edition. Today, we have a very special podcast. We are recording right after NXT Wargames just concluded, and we're like, let's just get on right after and get this going. And when you're talking wrestling, you got to have the expert, Jacob Mason. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm pumped up. I'm wide awake. I'm ready to do this. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about Wargames that literally just concluded 5 minutes ago. We're going to be talking about the past Wednesday, AEW's big, I don't know if I want to call it a pay-per-view type regular episode on Wednesday. We're going to be talking about some comments CM Punk made and an interview that Triple H had. But before we review Wargames, we're going to actually take a little minute to express our condolences to Pat Patterson's family. Pat Patterson, the first Intercontinental Champion, the man who created the Royal Rumble, the first openly gay wrestler. He wrote the book, Accepted How the First Gay Superstar Changed WWE. He passed away a couple of days ago. So had to start off with that. Rest in peace to the legend, Pat Patterson. And with that being said, Pat Patterson would definitely he would say the show must go on. So we are going to have a very good podcast in honor of Pat Patterson. So let's go. War Games. We had a 5-match card. You had the men's War Games, the women's War Games, the North American Championship match, Dexter Lumis versus Cameron Grimes, and Timothy Thatcher versus Tommaso Ciampa. I think we're just going to review it in the way that the matches went. So the first match was the women's War Games. You had Team Shotzi, Shotzi Blackheart, Amber Moon, Rhea Ripley, and Io Shirai versus Team Candice, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Toni Storm. Jacob, what did you think of this match?
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed this match. It was not match of the night, but going into this, I picked Team Candice to win it because I think they needed the win more than Team Shotzi's. Mm-hmm. Team Shotzi did. Oh, I love this match. It was a lot of fun to watch. I have a few complaints.
Okay.
What did you think of the match before I even get into my complaints?
I thought that one of the War Games matches had to start the night because you couldn't just have a War Games at the end and then War Games in the middle, or if you were going to be crazy, having back-to-back. So the women got the ones to start the night because we knew the men were going to be in the main event. And I did really like this match. I saw a lot out of Toni Storm, actually. I mean, she hasn't wrestled in a bit, but I saw a lot out of her. The way that they were trying to keep the champ, Io Shirai, out of the ring as long as possible, I thought that was really good. And it was hard-hitting. There were some big shots. And I liked, and hard-hitting is going to be the theme for this pay-per-view, but I did like it. Team Candice needed it more. Because obviously they're the heel team, and we thought a couple podcasts ago Candice LeRae was going to be the women's champion, but she is not, so they needed it more. So it makes sense for the heel team to win this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at it, Team Shotzi, 3 out of the 4 were champions.
Mm-hmm.
So on paper, Team Shotzi should have won, but really, Team Candice needed it. The only champion they've had that was on Team Candice was Toni Storm. She was the UK Women's Champion for a while. Mm-hmm. My complaints about the match, and this is just nitpicking, because the match was really good. It was just little stuff I noticed. At the one point, there was 3 women from Team Shotzi, 3 women from Team Candice in the ring, and they had all 6 women were up on a corner turnbuckle. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that bothered me is you could tell the side that was on the left was waiting for the side on the right. to get all together, and then you heard Ember Moon count down like 3, 2, 1, go. And they both did like a big move off the top corner. Hence, the moves looked cool, but you could just tell like they're just waiting. Like the timing was off. That's nitpicky stuff. Let's see what else bugged me on that one. Io. So I did like how they were trying to keep Io out of the match, like you said. Great, because Io is technically the biggest, baddest woman in NXT right now.
Right.
So yeah, try and keep her out of the match. The problem with that, the one thing I didn't like about that was they had Io climbing the side of the cage trying to get into the match, which I don't think. Oh, and then, well, yeah, she was climbing the cage to get up to the top. And I forget who it was. What was it? I think she kicked her or like kicked the cage, or there was someone in the cage. I cannot remember exactly which thing. There's been a bunch that's happened tonight. And knocked her off. It looked good, but it showed her trying to climb to the top. So fast forward to later, you have Io at the top of the ring. Therefore, it really wasn't that much of a surprise she was trying to climb to the top of the cage because she already did it once before. I think they shouldn't have done that spot. I think they should have just showed Io at the top of the cage at the end, not showed her when she first tried getting into there, trying to climb the side, because it would have looked better. Although I did love the fact that she threw a trash can over herself and dived into people. And I, for one, I don't know how you feel about it. I hate that spot.
Oh, the trap.
I hate where they jump either out of the ring or wherever and they catch them.
Oh, yeah. They need. I don't know. That's fucking.
I hate it.
It's so predictable.
Yeah, because I've said it a million times. CM Punk has said it. There's a ton of people that have said it. Why would you catch your opponent? You're trying to win. Walk out of the way and let them just fall right on their face. That would make sense. And that spot never makes sense. Let's see what else bugged me. Shotzi, at one point in the match, got hit with a pipe wrench by Candice LeRae and got right up. Like she didn't get hit with a pipe wrench. Now, if you're gonna have weapons in matches, like I'm okay with it. As long as you're not doing it constantly, I'm good with the whole like foreign object thing. But you got hit with a pipe wrench. I'm 6'2", 250. You hit me with a pipe wrench, my fat ass is going down. I'm not getting back up. Shotzi, I'm sorry. You're taking a real hit, and I'm saying that finger quotes here. You're taking a real hit with a pipe wrench. You're not getting back up. But she got right up, and just kept doing her thing like it didn't happen. That killed me. And something else that bothered me with the foreign object thing. Right in the beginning, there was it looked like a mini sledgehammer. It was like foam. I don't even think it was
the mini sledgehammer that
we did across the ring so many times. Like it was nothing. I'm like, I get you're not going to have a real, sledgehammer in there, but you can't even protect it. Like you can't even act like it's real. Like the thing is clearly whoever's the prop person sucks. That was not good. But those are all like super nitpickety things. And that's just because this match was that good that, hey, I'm going to nitpick it.
The women, too, also brought in a lot of weapons. I think they brought a lot more in than the men did.
Oh, 100%.
That's what I thought. Yeah, the only thing I guess with nitpicking with me personally that you already brought a lot of good points, but the finish, what is her name? Raquel Gonzalez got the pin over the champ Io Shirai. I was not expecting the champ to get pinned here since she's been so dominant. And then I thought, well, if the end goal is to have Johnny and Candice have the title belts, I thought that maybe Candice should have been the one to get the pin since she's the captain. And then if she pinned Io, you could do something that they could have title matches again. But with Raquel getting the pin, because obviously everyone remembers she had her feud with Rhea Ripley earlier couple months ago. So now with her pinning Io, she's more than likely going to be the number one contender, well, potentially for the title, which would be interesting. I thought it should have been Candice, but that was just my nitpicking of that match.
So, were you a fan or not a fan of the finish?
Of them winning or Raquel pinning?
With Raquel pinning Io.
I'm indifferent because, the end goal is for Candice to finally win this title. And I thought this would have been a perfect way to... She could have came on Wednesday saying, I pinned the champ, blah, blah, blah. But with Raquel pinning her, she poses a big, imposing threat to Io. I don't know if they're going to put the title on Raquel because, she can't. I've never heard her speak. So I'm indifferent. I'm glad that Team Candice won because they're the ones who needed it. So,
yes.
So anything else before we go to the next match?
No, I'm with you. I wish Candice would have got the pin for the win. But I'm okay with Raquel getting it because when we initially talked about her months ago, it was, who the hell is this person and why do I care?
Yep, you're right.
Well, now you've officially answered the question. Like, you did, like, I know she beat Rhea Ripley and whatnot, or had those matches with her, or whatever happened there. But now I know Raquel Gonzalez. Oh, she pinned Io Shirai.
Yeah.
That's who the hell she is. And that's why I care. Like, good job. They answered that question. Like, should have been someone else. Yes. But if you're going to do that, at least I think if it wasn't going to be Candice, Raquel would have been a great option.
Right. Agreed.
I think it would have been the number 2 option.
Agreed. We're just going to see how that goes going from here. The next match, was that Timothy Thatcher versus Tommaso Ciampa? That was the next match?
Yes, that was. And actually, before we even get into that, there is something else I have written down here and I forgot to say about the women's match. At one point, Candice, it was Shotzi and Candice, they were going at it with each other. Candice, you could clearly see she pulled a chair on top of herself.
Oh, yep. I know that spot. Yep.
Okay. So she pulled a chair on top of herself because I was like, you can clearly see her doing that. And Shotzi jumps off a ladder and lands on Candice. And I'm like, God, why would Candice do that? That looks really stupid, blah, 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 blah. That was just bad timing. But to the rescue was Wade Barrett. Good job to Wade Barrett because he said, oh, she pulled the chair up so she could give damage to Shotzi Blackheart. She knew she was going to take damage, but she gave it right back and whatever he said. But he made that very bad spot look, oh, okay, there's a reason she did this. Good job, Wade Barrett.
You're right. Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, Wade really saved it there. But yeah, let's go into Timothy versus Tommaso Ciampa. This obviously was for no belt. This again, hard hitting is going to be the word. These are 2 hard hitting dudes, middle of the ring, no bullshit, nothing. I actually enjoyed watching this match, probably because it was just 2 dudes going at it to see who's the better guy, and it was pretty physical. And I liked it, and Ciampa coming out on top, and I feel like they're not done with each other just yet. What did you think when you watched it?
My when I watched the match, of course, my first question again was, who the hell is Timothy Thatcher and why the hell do I care? I still don't care. I still don't know who he is. And I still don't. I just don't care. To me, this was not saying it was a bad match. It didn't catch my eye. This was probably my least favorite match of the entire evening.
Even with the blood of Timothy's ears?
Yeah. I was just like it was just, I just really do not like Timothy Thatcher. I just don't. I don't know shit about him. And I just don't like him. And I think maybe that was it. I was just like, I was glad to see Ciampa got the win. I was very good with that, but I just don't care about Timothy Thatcher.
Not you. Well, from that, we're just gonna, we'll just go to the next match. It's just, he came in when Pete Dunne was stuck overseas when no one could travel and filled in for Pete Dunne's spot when he was teamed with Riddle, and now he runs his little school, and now we're here with that. But let's see, maybe he'll be giving you something to think about going into 2021. Next match was the North American Championship match. Leon Ruff, champion, coming in versus Gargano and Damian Priest. Leon Ruff, I think they said he was like 5'8", or if that, 150 something pounds. And me personally going in, I said, there's no way he's keeping the title. And now he's Johnny 3-time because Johnny Gargano came out with a win as the new North American champion. What did you think of this match?
I like this match. I like this match a lot. Probably, it was evening, but I like it. I'm glad to see Johnny's the champion again, and they'll be able to continue on with the Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest saga, which I'm good with. I like this rivalry.
Yeah, I actually really like Damian Priest a lot. I was actually personally pulling for him because I felt like his title run ended abruptly. But yeah, this match was really good. Leon is just, it's hard to take Leon serious just because of, like, you see Johnny Gargano and then you see Damian Priest, and that's the point. And then you see little Leon, who looks like a middle schooler compared to the two of them. But he put in his effort, and his championship only lasted, 2 weeks, if that?
Yeah, 2 weeks, but he's in the record books. So
he is in the record books. So, I mean, yeah, Johnny winning. Now you continue that rivalry with Damian, and you also continue the Gargano family takeover. So we're still waiting for that shot where they stand over NXT, both of them holding titles in hand.
Oh yeah, and now we have Austin Theory, who was revealed to be one of the Scream Face Ghost whatever dudes, and because he cost Damian Priest the title by hitting him in the back of the head with a steel pipe.
And he had the call back to the "It was me, Austin. It was me all along."
Oh, I loved it. It was great.
That was a nice callback to the old school wrestling fans, if you remember the Attitude Era when that happened. But the next match, you want to talk about your match you didn't care about? This was a match I personally didn't care about. Dexter Lumis versus Cameron Grimes in a strap match, where most of the match they weren't even strapped. Cameron Grimes had no chance of winning this match whatsoever. So Dexter came out on top on that. I would just say with Dexter, I don't know if he's ever going to be like the number one contender for an NXT title, but he seems like the type of guy where he would show up on a Raw after WrestleMania, attack somebody, have a little funny feud, and then just be forgot about if he ever got to the main roster. What'd you think of this match?
I love this match.
Really?
Oh, dude, I liked it. I was entertained by this match. I'm entertained by Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes. I think Dexter Lumis, I think if they would use him right, I could see him as a champion in a heartbeat.
Wow.
I want to see more Dexter Lumis on television. I want to see him go after a title. Although they could continue the Dexter versus Cameron Grimes rivalry, I think it's hilarious. I've laughed every time, and not like, haha, this is terrible. Like, no, I thoroughly am entertained by this. And if I'm being entertained, I'll take it. I can look past a lot of flaws if I'm being entertained. I mean, prime example there, and I know I'm one of the few people who like this gentleman, but give me Otis. I love the whole Otis Mandy thing. Why? Because it was entertaining. It was good entertainment, not bad entertainment. So to me, give me Dexter, give me Cameron Grimes. I like the match.
Well, before we go to the main event, your man Dexter, he might get fed to who we think is a returning Karrion Kross.
Woo! Yes. Well, I don't think he's going to get fed because I think was that was his little promo thing towards Dexter?
No, I don't think it was towards anyone. I just think it was where they placed his promo. But, I mean, with him coming back, that means obviously Scarlett's coming back. So, it'll be interesting to see. Right now, Finn Balor's a champ. Kross won the title off Keith Lee and then had to drop it literally like the next day because he got hurt, which that always sucks and messes up plans. So if he's going after Finn, he's going to have to be careful. The Prince is on another level right now as well, so that will be a.
Oh, I think to look to the future, I think we need to look towards the past.
Okay.
I said this a long time ago on a podcast. Give me Karrion Kross versus Demon Balor at Mania. And it's starting to look like we could possibly get that.
Yeah, if they let NXT get on a WrestleMania card.
Well, not at Mania, I mean on their
Weekend.
on the WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah.
Because God, don't put it on Mania because it'll actually suck then. No, just give me the good takeover. It's looking, I think that very well could be an option now. So I'm excited for Karrion Kross to come back. He's just going to tear everything up when he gets there. It's going to be good.
We're going to see, because Karrion had his little thing. And obviously Finn Balor. Anytime Finn Balor's doing the black and white sitting in the chair promos, I am here for, because each one is just fire. He's just, after this little stuff's done, we're coming back to the real prize. See you on Wednesday. Like, when he's doing those silhouettes, it's great. But
I agree.
Let's get to it. Main event. You already know the players. Men's War Game. Don't even have to name all four of them. You know them as the Undisputed Era. And they're going up against Pat McAfee, Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, Owen Lorcan. Jacob, was this your favorite match of the night?
Oh, 100%. I was going with the Kings of NXT. That's who my prediction was. Because the promo or the video package they had for this match
was great.
So freaking good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this could go down as one of the best video packages
probably gonna watch
of the year.
I'm gonna rewatch it when we're done.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, so who was your pick in this match? Because I was going with the Kings of NXT.
I went with Undisputed Era only for the reason because they lost last year. And I don't think we're going to have them go 2 years in a row losing. You can't call something your match that you made famous for if you keep losing in it. That was the only reason I picked them.
Fair enough. Funny enough, I was wearing my Undisputed Era hoodie and rooting for the opposite team during this match, so whatever. I love this match. The build-up was good. The match was good. Everything was good. Big brain right here. To quote Pat McAfee, big brain, this was awesome. So good.
And even the thing, too, with the finish, everyone expected Adam or Pat to get the pins, but it wasn't Adam, it was Kyle O'Reilly who got the pin. So that was cool to see, because, typically you expect the leaders to do it, but that was great seeing someone else get the pin.
Oh, it was very good. They're really pushing Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, they are.
Which is always a good thing. But, man, watching this entire match, watching it go to the end with Kyle O'Reilly who did he pin again?
I think it was one of the tag team. I think it was Danny or Owen. I think it was one of the tag team champs.
It was Oni. He pinned Oni. That was it. Really pushing him. It really brought back my old go-to favorite thing for this, because just with everything going on,
yeah,
it's that time again. I think it's time we dust it off. I think we start climbing the hill and we prepare to die on it once again. Ladies and gentlemen, Jacob Mason's bold prediction, hot take is Undisputed Era is going to dissolve. Here's my take. Here's what I think. In the promo package, there was a lot of talk about how Pat McAfee was throwing out big bucks, big money to get these guys on his side for his faction. It's a money-making faction. Mm-hmm. Pat McAfee's going to look at this. This is how they'll portray it out here. Pat McAfee's going to take a step back, look at the situation, and go, okay, I can't beat the Undisputed Era. Therefore, I'm going to buy the Undisputed Era. Therefore, I think he's going to buy Kyle O'Reilly. And I think you're going to see Kyle O'Reilly turn on the Undisputed Era. Ladies and gentlemen, it is back. Jacob Mason's Undisputed Era is falling apart edition. We lost Lana. I think Lana was our last thing on the last podcast.
Okay.
So now we need to bring this back. We need to fill a spot here. That's my take.
I will say, if they do it perfectly, like you're not expecting it, it can be up there with Triple H and what Evolution did with the Shield. And Triple H said there's always a plan B, and Seth Rollins turned on the Shield. That would be wild if it happens with the Undisputed Era, because everyone will be looking at Kyle, because I think it'll be Kyle, because Kyle's going to win and got the win, so I'll try and buy him off first. That would be crazy.
Yeah. But it would be good.
Oh, yeah, it'd be, jaws drop.
Jaws would drop, and I would be happy, and we'd do an emergency podcast just to say I was right. Yeah. Be all about it.
That's true. What did you think of Pat, the second match?
Pat is going in one of my top 5 at the end of the year when we do our tops of the year. Pat's going to be there at the not the tippy top, but he's going to be top 5. Pat McAfee is the freaking man. I thought he moves good. I thought he did good. He wrestled better than a lot of wrestlers.
Oh boy!
And we're going to talk about his promo work in a bit. Let's be real. I thought it was good. Okay. He did a beautiful swanton. He did a beautiful moonsault. Of course, his kicks always look good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pat McAfee is a freaking man. I thought he did good. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, he did good. I thought the moment where I thought that this when the match was about to be over, when Adam hit his finisher on him and he kicked out at 2, and I was drinking a Gatorade, and I'm just like, wait, did he just kick out?
He kicked out of the Panama, was it the Panama City Sunrise or Sun?
I actually really liked that move too. And like when
it's awesome.
And then when I saw him kick out and Adam looked back, he's like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Like that. There's no way he should have kicked out. But in the second match, Pat's doing a lot of good stuff. And like you said, we're gonna talk about his promo work in a bit. So with Wargames, 5 matches, 3 hours, good time, great matches. What would you give the card rating?
Oh, I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Are we going on a 5 scale?
We'll do the Dave Meltzer 5 scale.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Agree. I would give it a 4 out of 5. Me personally, I think I would give it like a 4.45 if Candice got the pin. Because that would set up so much more stuff.
Yeah, I agree, buddy.
All right, well let's switch from this Wednesday night type show to the other Wednesday night type show. We got AEW, which basically had a pay-per-view on live TV this past Wednesday with the headline Jon Moxley going against Kenny Omega for the championship. And Jacob, I'm going to let you take this away. Go ahead and talk about this. This past Wednesday, what happened, the title match, and all the other with AEW.
Okay, so let's just talk about the title match first.
Yeah.
Because there were 2 very big things that happened on this past Wednesday. Both, in my opinion, well, I'll say probably the Moxley Kenny thing match was probably the biggest and just very insanely close by a hair, followed by the second thing. But we'll start off with the Kenny, Jon Moxley. They had their title match. The match was good because, of course, it was. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
It's Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley. Mm-hmm. Take my money. Except I didn't have to pay anything. I just had to watch. I'll take it.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the match, Kenny Omega pins Jon Moxley, takes him out, takes a ton of V triggers or a micro. He gets hit with a microphone, gets a ton of V trigger knee strikes, finished off with the One Wing Angel. Your new champion, ladies and gentlemen, is Kenny Omega.
Did you have Omega winning when we previewed this 2 weeks ago?
I think I said I could see it going either way.
Yeah, it was.
If I remember correctly, because I was like, I thought someone might have came in there and tried to screw it up for either one of them. It
was a pick.
Yeah, I'll take whatever. Either way of which way it would have went would have been good. That's the best part about it, because that's how you book good wrestling. Anyways, Kenny Omega wins. Don Callis, who's the president or owner of TNA.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, he comes out. He's on commentary. He comes out to the ring. Kenny Omega, he announces Kenny Omega is going to be on TNA this Tuesday.
Yeah. So, now with that, because I'm pretty sure I know the other second biggest thing. I had this split into three big things.
Okay.
The WTF, no one saw coming, who showed up, and this part, because this is literally what we were talking about 2 weeks ago about intercompany relation, like promotion relationships and things like that. And when he said Kenny is pulling up on Tuesday on Impact, and Kenny's like, yeah, I'm gonna be there, I was like, oh, we just talked about this 2 weeks ago. We're gonna have a TNA AEW working relationship too, and they're working with New Japan. I was like, oh, this could be big.
Oh, this is going to be massive. This could be the biggest, because this is the craziest way to close out 2020. Mm-hmm. The beginning of 2020 was COVID hit, and we've been in the COVID era of wrestling. We're now leaving 2020 with all these other people, all these other companies are now starting to team up to do shit.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, what the hell is going on? I love it.
Who's the top guy at TNA? I don't even know who the top man is.
Honestly, I don't pay attention to their men's division.
Yeah.
I pay more attention to their tag division and their knockouts division.
Yeah, I haven't really.
Because right now, the top people in TNA that I care about is the Good Brothers. You have Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, who are the tag champions. You have Deonna Purrazzo, who is the knockouts champion.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of things you can do here with this. Oh, Rich Swann. Rich Swann is the champion, the men's champion right now for TNA.
So when Omega comes to TNA, because they'll probably open the show or end the show, and you have Rich Swann coming in with his title, and they're like, all right, title for title match. Oh my God. The ramifications that would have on the wrestling world would be massive.
Well, let's not forget, Kenny Omega is still, if I remember correctly, he's still the AAA champion right now. For those who do not know, AAA is like Mexico's version of WWE.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's their top guy. I don't even think he shows up. I think he Brock Lesnar's it. I have no idea. But I do know he's a champion.
Yeah, it's wild. And we literally just talked about this on our last pod about promotions working together. You get all these people mixing it. It's going to be great. But let's talk about the other biggest thing that no one saw coming on TNA, which, to be honest, social media wise, overshadowed the news we just talked about of Omega winning, was Hall of Famer Sting coming on AEW. Jacob, what the hell was happening?
I gotta say, hearing Tony Schiavone go, "It's Sting," gave me chills. Gave me absolute chills, because I went from being 28-year-old Jacob to 6-year-old Jacob, and hearing him say, "It's Sting" on WCW, and I'm going, oh my God.
Yeah.
Sting just shows up. It was Cody and Darby Allin. Or for that, Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin versus Team Taz. And at the end of the match, out comes Sting. And he stares down Arn Anderson. He stares down Cody Rhodes, and he stares down Darby Allin. And basically walks off. That's the gist of it. And this coming Wednesday, Sting will speak on AEW. This has been this has been a wonderful week for wrestling. This has been the best week of wrestling since the beginning of the year, I'd say. This has been amazing.
Yeah, so with Sting's thing, obviously, I forgot to say that AEW's The Winter is Coming episode, from Game of Thrones, and you had Sting come, so that was wild. And I was just reading, this is off Sports Kita, that is Sting's contract expired in May, and that's when rumors, which, in these rumors, that he potentially could go to AEW. And it's not even that he showed up for a one-time thing, and like you said, he's speaking this week. But he also signed a multi-year deal with AEW. Tony Khan, this is from Dave Meltzer, wants Sting to be a regular television character, and that was something WWE was not keen on during his time at the company. But he's still going to be protected, not going to take any bumps, things like that, because, the last bump he took was that title match against Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins messed up his spine. And it was also stated that, Sting wanted to have a cinematic match with Taker, and Vince it never appealed to him, and I think that's what made Sting's like, you know what? All right, F it. I'm going to go to AEW. So WWE pissing off someone else, and a legend, and now Sting, I think, is he the only person who's been on WCW, TNA, WWE, and AEW? I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of the Grand Slam guys, because I think the only place he hasn't been so far is New Japan and Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and you talk about 2020 and returns you never saw coming. At the beginning of the year, one of the last places we had fans, Edge's return at the Royal Rumble, no one saw coming. That was great. And now we're ending the year with Sting's return, which no one saw coming. So it's a great, like you said, it's been a great wrestling week for the wrestling world. And I do like it when December gets hot, because that means January is going to get hotter, because it's to start the new year.
Oh, yeah. And, we talked last week, or last podcast, was about the possibility, since Taker was retiring, we talked about Sting and Taker.
We did.
Wrestling each other. And I said, I don't want to see that. I wanted to see that 10 years ago. I never even really thought about Sting and Taker doing a cinematic match.
Well, it's a so 2020 thing now.
I never even thought about that possibility, because I'll take that. I'll take that all day. I'll take that over a regular match.
Yeah, agreed.
That'd be, shut up and take my money. You can have it. All 99 worth of it, or $9.99. Have it all. I don't care. That would have been cool. I did not see Sting debuting, and he's already making a mark. He set the record for most T-shirts sold in 24 hours for pro wrestling tees, which blew my mind, because I don't even think the T-shirts he has on pro wrestling tees is even that impressive. But what a wow factor! I mean, it's crazy.
Twitter exploded, and I was like, "Hold on!" I had to flip. I was like, "Holy!" And I had to go tell my friends, I'm like, "Sting is," and they're like, "No way!" I was like, "Yes!" and sending them the tweets, and I was like, "Dude, Sting is back! What the hell?"
Yeah, it's crazy, and like I said, hearing Tony Schiavone say Sting is it's just right. It's like having I'm trying to think of the guy that always did the Edge, the rated R superstar Edge.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's like when you have Gene doing the and new WWF or W like that. Now it's get iconic voices like that. It's wild, but man, wrestling's at its best when you don't see something coming.
Nobody saw this coming. Absolutely nobody.
And anyone who says they did, they're lying. So we're gonna have to see what he does. He's speaking this Wednesday. Definitely gonna have the peep, and a lot of people also said, I guess the WWE marks is oh, look at AEW fans getting happy about 60 whatever year old coming to their show, but they would hate when WWE does that. And someone had, and then of course someone goes like, well, WWE would have someone like Sting or most recently Goldberg come back and beat your champion Kevin Owens 1 year, Bray Wyatt the next year, take the title from him just to drop it to a Brock Lesnar, or who he was going to drop it to, Roman Reigns, but it had to be Braun Strowman. So
AEW will crack the code. They will do it right. I mean, I'm betting they will.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be AEW. They're going to crack the code on bringing back the veterans, the legends, and they're not going to be they're not going to be the focal point. They're just going to help everyone along, but do it right. It's going to be good. If I'm putting my faith, if I'm putting my money on a company to do it right, it's got to be AEW.
Yeah, it's wild, but we're going to have to see how it goes. Next thing we were going to hit on is, which we alluded to earlier in the podcast, CM Punk. When CM Punk talks, the wrestling world does listen. But he was giving praise to Pat McAfee. I don't know if I can call him NXT's Pat McAfee, because I don't know if he's like really sorry, but he gave praise to him. He said he said Pat McAfee's a better promo than everyone on the show. And everyone on the show should feel embarrassed because an outsider's coming in being the best promo. And CM Punk said that Pat McAfee, to him, was the best thing on NXT other than Rhea Ripley. So, Jacob, I guess two-parter. Do you think right now Pat McAfee is the best promo in WWE?
100%. I don't even think it's close.
Why do you think he's the best promo in the company right now?
He's the most entertaining. It sounds the most legit, because the only other person I could think of, like who is better than him on the mic right now? Like I'm thinking, who's the hottest? Who's the biggest draws right now? And I'm going, well, Roman is the biggest draw right now.
Mm-hmm.
Roman's been great. He's been really good on the mic since he's went heel.
Yeah.
That being said, Roman is not as entertaining as Pat McAfee. I think I said this on the podcast a time or two ago. No, I forget which one. But I said Pat McAfee was such a heel. He turned the most heel stable in Undisputed Era into a face stable.
Yes, you did. You did.
Nobody else is doing that right now. Nobody. Pat McAfee's the best one. Plus, all he does is talk since he's not a football player, what's he do for a living? He talks. He's got his own show.
Mm-hmm.
He better be, I would hope he would be good on the microphone. No, he's next level. He should be teaching promo classes right now to everyone else.
Here's my thing with CM Punk's comments. One, if you're a wrestler in the company, you should be reading that and you should be pissed off. Because full-time talent always gets mad when part-time talent comes. They do better than them, and they leave and things like that. So if you're a full-time guy and you're reading that and you're like, oh, I can't have this part-timer be better than me. I can't even call him a part-timer. I don't know what to call him. But they should be taking that. If this was the old days, they'd be like, all right, you think he's better than me? Well, I'm going to have a promo. And the other thing with the promo, too, is I don't know how much produced he is by WWE. It's looking like he's having free reign, which anytime you have free reign in WWE is when you can have the best promos. So that's another thing, too. If he's getting free reign before some of these other people who are still getting handed their whole freaking scripts, then that's an issue, and they need to step it up.
Part of me hopes, in a way, that it's a 6 and 1, half dozen in the other. If he's getting if they're handing him a script, damn, he's taking that script and absolutely killing it.
That'd make it worse, in my opinion, too. Like, if he's getting that, if he's being treated like a normal person and he's getting a script and he's killing it and making y'all look like idiots, you guys need to really reevaluate yourselves.
But on the other hand, if he's, which I believe is the case, if he's just doing his own thing, writing his own scripts, WWE, what are you doing? Let them just let everyone do their own speak. Like, let them speak. Sink or swim. Here's your chance. Here's 5 minutes. Go kill it.
I mean, that's what you do. I think right now, especially, well, Becky's gone. She was good. I think he is the second best talker overall in WWE. First promo, but second best just because Paul Heyman's still there. So I can't.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Paul Heyman is. But does Paul speak that much anymore?
He doesn't speak that much, but if I'm ranking everyone in the company, like right now, wrestling-wise, just wrestlers, Pat's number one. It's not close. But if we're just doing overall, if Paul Heyman starts getting on that mic and starts going off,
God, can we fantasy book? Can we somehow get Pat McAfee versus Paul Heyman and just have a battle of the mics? Give me that as a main event at WrestleMania, and I would love it. I don't even care. That'd be so good.
I mean, if Pat really, really, really took off, they find a way to get it. I don't know how, but they find a way to pay off everyone so he has an army against the tribal chief. And then you could have them going at it because, Roman's the biggest draw and and he's talking really well. So that'd be good. But it's just interesting comments. Anytime you hear those type of things, you always wonder what the full-time talent is thinking. But to go from that, Triple H, I think, heard our podcast 2 weeks ago because he did a recent interview and he was talking about things like, obviously, Rhea Ripley's trajectory because things changed because of COVID, because there was no one, besides Becky Lynch, there was no one hotter in 2019 than Rhea Ripley. The way she ended, like, she was a supernova, and then it just died, and Triple H is saying this year is going to make her better for it. But he brought up, the question was brought up about working with other promotions. If you remember 2 weeks ago, I asked you, Jacob, if you think this could ever happen, and you were just like, no. And Triple H said, we are open to working with other promotions if it's right for the both of us. What did you think about that when you saw that?
Well, when we talked about this on the last podcast, did I think that would happen? No, I went from 100% it's not possible to 75% it's not possible now.
That's a big
because things have changed, because Sting, or not Sting, TNA and AEW are going to work together now.
Yeah.
Allegedly. So that's the biggest thing that's changed. And I think Triple H looked at that and went, shit. Well, of course, we're open for business to work with other people. We're all about as long as it works for both of us. No, like, he's just saying whatever he can to try and get people to talk more about your NXT than AEW, because AEW, if you thought the ratings war was bad before, the ratings war, it wasn't much of a war before, but they just dropped a nuke on NXT.
They did.
It's done. It's been done. It's really done. You have to do something now. Now, do I think it's going to happen? I still don't think it's going to happen. It might happen if they have like some dumb little tiny indie promotion. Like, maybe I'm trying to think. Who do you think WWE would work with?
Ring of Honor.
Ooh,
because they got a lot of guys came from there, so the connections there.
But I think the biggest worry with that is I don't know if they would, because Ring of Honor has way more free reign on letting the wrestlers speak what they want to speak.
I will also,
and that would not fly in WWE.
That wouldn't, but also to my thing with Ring of Honor with the connections. Ring of Honor, if you watch it, it is on Fox. So the Fox execs, if they want to make something happen because WWE is on Fox. If Fox says, "Hey, I want you to do something with Ring of Honor," I think it could happen. They're both on the same network.
All right, so we're going to play fantasy booking right now. Let's say WWE pairs up with Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is paired up with New Japan.
Yes, they are.
I mean, we just had Brody King versus Kenta the other day in Ring of Honor. So does that mean New Japan gets in on this too?
Well,
could we get Okada somehow in a WWE ring because they're going to team up with Ring of Honor?
If this were to happen, you have to send your champion. So I mean, whoever Roman's going against, he's going to win. But you got to send also people New Japan's familiar with. So you have to send Nakamura. So you can have a Nakamura versus Okada or an AJ Styles versus an Okada match, which, as the saying says, take the money. So it would be interesting. I think my favorite thing is if you got all the promotions together, you say take your top 3 men, top 3 women, top 3 tag teams, and we just have a whole G1 style tournament and see who's the best of all the wrestling promotions. That'd be
it'd be like the old NWA all over again.
Yeah.
Whew. Pat Patterson. I don't. Oh man! As much as I think that'd be cool to see, the question is who books it, because nobody wants their top guy to lose.
Yep.
Now TNA would be willing to work business because they don't give a shit. They get more eyes on their product. They're like, that's just making us money. We do not care they don't care one bit. But man, could like seeing, Kenny versus Roman versus right now it's Naito in New Japan. Like, who wins? How do you book that? How do you work that finish? Because each company is going to want them to, their people to win it. And WWE is the biggest dog on the block. So, and they have the most money backing it. They have the most eyes. Therefore, you would have to think WWE's people would have to win. This is all fantasy booking right here.
Yeah, but then you got to think of the things too. If like WWE has USA and Fox in their corner, you could say Ring of Honor because it's on their station. TNA has TNT, so you're in those big execs too in a boardroom, and they don't really care about the finishes; they care about making the money. So what's going to get the most people on here? And in the perfect world, this happens. It would have to probably happen in America, probably at a AT&T Cowboy Stadium to have 100,000 people. Me personally, I have it there, or we could have it in the Tokyo Dome. So it would be wild, because then you're talking about you got to get some of the legends too, like the dream matches. Like we never thought Cena and Styles would happen, so you got to get like Cena versus Okada, like things like that. So then you got to see if they're going to come back, and then getting all those people, and Cena would lose. So it's like, because he would do business.
If we're gonna, man, if we're gonna get John Cena to come back to wrestle a New Japan person, I want to see him fight Tanahashi. Because he is the Cena of New Japan.
Yeah,
he's the ace.
It'll be crazy, and then you got to be careful with like people like Chris Jericho, because he's wrestled everybody in WWE. So you got to make it fresh and things like that. It would be wild, man. Like if in a perfect world, if AEW was going on, now it's Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's champ, and Tommaso Ciampa pulls up and says, "You and me, title right now." Like Kenny Omega versus Tommaso Ciampa, like dream like that. Sign me up.
No, we could talk an entire podcast about this 100%.
Yeah, so I know Triple H, to his credit, these past 5, 6, 7 years when NXT's really taken off, he has been able to sign top talent that I never thought would be in WWE. He's been able to work behind the scenes, mending relationships with people who I never thought would come back. People like Ultimate Warrior, Bruno, Goldberg, and signing Nakamura, getting AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Kevin. Like, he's been able to get these people. So
I think it's going to be harder for Triple H to do that anymore, honestly.
Oh, me too. And also because, like, I mean, you see the track record, only a select few actually make it in NXT and make it in WWE. Most make it in NXT because they have great booking, then go to WWE and get forgotten about. The fact that I really sat there one year and Shinsuke Nakamura won the Royal Rumble and has never still been a WWE champion is wild.
Oh, 100%.
But there's other people who haven't won. But, man, we can keep going. But that's really the last topic that we really had, because it's just so interesting that 2 weeks ago we said no shot, and now we're just like Triple H is looking around. It's like, oh, it's almost like an Avenger type thing. If AEW is teaming up with other people, Triple H is like, yeah, I got to get a team too, because we can't have every wrestling promotion working together and we're just sitting on the outside because we're going to just get smoked in ratings.
Yeah, I remember listening to Busted Open Radio a long time ago, back when AEW first started.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Bully Ray said on there that AEW should, like, you know, after they get established, they need to team up, you know, with all these other promotions, because are you going to be able to take down WWE? No, it's not going to happen.
No, they build up so much equity.
Yeah, they pretty much have the monopoly on it. But if you team up with all these other people, you can't take them down, but you can essentially go like, hey, this is my side of the street. That is your side of the street. We just have 4 people on our side. It's just you. Don't cross the line. And it's looking like that, what I heard over a year ago, is now going to happen. It's wild. It's good shit.
I'll even step it up even further with Kenny going to TNA Tuesday, which when you hear that as a wrestling fan, you're like, damn it, I have to watch TNA on Tuesday or pay attention on like social media to see what happens. But let's say they're working together. New Japan, we already know their stuff. Now, if they're really all working together, they could all be included in like the AEW video game.
Oh, I never even thought of that.
So you have New Japan, and TNA all in this video game, and you're just like, well, you could get this video game that has like 5 billion promotion, or you could get WWE video game that really hasn't changed in the past couple of years. So think about that type of monopoly.
Take my money.
People in the States will be able to get their controllers and play as freaking Okada and Moxley and Omega.
And it not be a creator wrestler.
No, not be a creator. It'll be the real deal. And then you get to have arenas like Tokyo Dome that you're playing on your big screen TV. Like, it'd be wild.
Oh, man, that'd be great. I never even thought about that. If you could work that together, abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah, but we're definitely going to have to dedicate just a whole podcast on that, because we could really keep going with how this could work, contract-wise, everything.
Oh, it's big things are happening in the wrestling world. Like,
yeah, and then
stuff we never thought would happen. It's happening. It's awesome.
Yeah, and then on a smaller note before we close, OnlyFans star Selena Vega, just kidding, former WWE star, she posted a couple days ago that on Saturday she was having a big Among Us game, very popular game that you do with your friends, and she had people from WWE everywhere. She had Hall of Famer Lita, she had Renee, she had Paige, which I don't know if Paige is just asking to get fired at this moment, but whatever. Other people, and then the name that no one has seen in almost like 2 years, Ronda Rousey, part of the stream. I didn't watch the stream just because I couldn't at the time, but just seeing Ronda on there, I wonder if there was any wrestling questions asked to her while she was streaming.
I did not watch it. I did see Ronda posted on Paige's Instagram. I think they all posted like, hey, we're doing a stream, And I remember I seen Ronda Rousey posted on Paige's Instagram like, oh, that was so much fun or whatever. And I'm just like, damn. Paige don't give a shit.
No.
And the truth of the matter is, WWE, I don't think they don't want to lose her. Her not even wrestling for as long as she has, she's still a bigger name than, well, anybody on the AEW women's roster. I don't think they want to lose. I don't think they want to lose her, and I think she's just like, screw it. What are you gonna do? Tell me I can't wrestle? Fire me? Who cares?
I mean, she did get a real movie based on her life made by The Rock, Fighting for My Family. So Paige is one of those people. She survived the sex tape. She survived the domestic relationship with Alberto Del Rio. So, I mean, she survived a lot of stuff to still be employed, and fair or not. So, I mean, she's probably at this point like, man, I've gone through so much stuff with this company. So let's just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, it really. Jacob, anything else you got before we sign out today, man? This was a right after pay-per-view podcast, our first one ever, and there was a lot to talk about these couple weeks. So what do you, anything else, man?
I know we were just like praising and just had a big old stint about AEW. There's something I want to say back to the women's Wargames match.
Yeah.
In the first 10 minutes alone, hell, in the first 5 minutes alone, there was more talent in the ring with 2 to 3 women in the NXT ring than there was in the entire AEW women's roster.
Yeah. Yeah.
AEW, get on your shit and fix the freaking women's division over there. That's, I think, it's something else. I'm pretty sure we said it earlier. I'm very excited about them teaming up with TNA. For the love of God, throw the Knockouts division in there. They have more name brand talent than AEW has.
Agreed. And WWE, it seems like currently right now, their women are more, well, we'll see what Selena Vega does. I think she's going to AEW. But their women are extremely loyal to WWE, especially the ones who trained in NXT, made out like the 4 horsewomen, like all of them. They're extremely loyal. But you brought up the women. I mean, the hottest free agent in wrestling right now is a woman, and she's still not signed.
Tessa?
Yeah.
Yep.
I know she has baggage. She does some stuff, but she's the hottest signee right now. She's still free agent. So, I mean, if she would boast AEW's women's thing, but to a pretty high level.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And her dad works for AEW. So, I don't know why nobody signed her yet. Like you said, she's got baggage. She's got a lot of baggage, but I ain't gonna lie, that's so much potential with that baggage. Like, do you bite the bullet and just say, like, just have a specific contract? You know, like, hey, like, this is what we're going to allow. Like, this is the deal. Like, if you do this, or this, here's your 3 strikes and you're out deal, or whatever they're going to do. Because I'd fork out money, hand over foot if I'm a wrestling promotion to get her right now.
I'm AEW right now. I signed Tessa, and then honestly, the only person who hasn't wrestled in a while, I'm going to Chicago and I'm knocking on AJ's door and asking, how much do you want?
Oof. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what Sting's getting paid for his new contract. I imagine to get AJ Lee, it's going to be more.
Yeah, because she hasn't wrestled since WrestleMania 31, where she, one of the few people who got to retire on her own terms and go out on a win. So I don't know if the passion's there for it, but I'm just thinking of young people who are probably still in their physical prime and you get Tessa and AJ, you have your 2 top women for years to come, and you can have them go at it like a Charlotte, Asuka, Charlotte, Sasha, any of those things. Or you have one of them champ, and then they elevate your talent. Because whenever one of those people on AEW pins one of those two, a star is going to be born.
Yep. You want to elevate Britt Baker, who's the biggest name in AEW's women's division.
I'd say Brandy Rhodes, just because
Oh yeah, Brandy.
Yeah.
But is she even like wrestling? Because I don't think she's really not. She's more of a backstage person or a promo work person. She really doesn't wrestle that much. But I'd say pure wrestler. I think it's still Britt Baker. And as much as I know Britt Baker, and I know you know Britt Baker, a lot of people do not know Britt Baker.
No, Britt Baker, MD.
Yes. Go over to Pittsburgh, get your teeth taken care of. She'll take care of you.
Mm-hmm. But that's a whole. Those are the two. Because you can realistically get Tessa, and then you just have to bring the Brinks truck to Chicago. You
put a lot of money in those Brinks trucks. I know.
You TNT money, so figure it out. You need to get some better women. They can't all just be in WWE, NXT, or TNA. Because you're going to get to a point too where these women, I mean, there's still people coming up, and they'll leave. But you got to hurry up because I mean, NXT already has their next set of women. Do remember, The Rock's daughter is on the NXT roster.
Yeah. I kind of forgot about that because they quit talking about her for a month. Because they talked about her for a month straight, constantly when they signed her. Like WWE signed The Rock's daughter. I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, but whenever she starts wrestling, and they have other people too, like Brandy, Lauren, whatever her name. Like they got a lot of women who don't even wrestle that much that are waiting in the rings. But just imagine when AEW is getting their women's division on track, and 5, 6, 7 years ago from now, Rock's daughter wins the title. That is going to be on every news station on planet Earth.
Oh yeah, and she'll do it by taking. And eventually, it's going to be her and Charlotte at Mania. They'll main event Mania.
It'll be Charlotte's retirement match.
Yep.
Because then you have a reason to have Rock show up on WWE programming. Because then he'll start talking the bloodline, things like that. But yeah, that's a whole other thing. But man, what an episode, man!
It's been good. It's been wild. It's been fun.
There's been so much, and when we do these every 2 weeks, we always like, man, what are we going to talk about? And then wrestling never lets you down.
Never. It's constant.
And it's
wonderful.
Yeah, man. But we're gonna have to see because we're gonna have to work the calendar as I've talked on previous episodes. At time of this recording, that might be out when you listen to this. We're obviously planning our first end of year podcast where we try and get all the contributors to the podcast just on one end of year thing to talk about the successes we've had and just ask some general questions. And it's typically that one right now is looking like it's usually around the time we do our bi-weekly wrestling one. So we might have to hit you with a double whammy and come with and send another wrestling pod to you guys by next week, depending on what Sting says.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're talking to the number one champ of the L7C podcast right here.
Yep, you
Most
are.
consistent person you got.
That is true. That is true. We'll let you guys know. You'll see the episodes and we'll go from there. Jacob, anything else before we sign off, man?
No. Hey, thank you to everyone who, continues to listen to the podcast. I'll make sure my promotional work is a lot better than my last week's one. I let all the listeners down. We're going to change that on this one. Shout out to Justin for constantly fixing our streams. And Martin, thanks for always bringing me on here and letting me run my mouth for an hour.
Hey, no problem, man. 2 weeks of wrestling, we could technically go 2 more hours if we really wanted to. So,
all day.
But all right, guys, thank you for listening to the L7C podcast. Thank you, Jacob, for being on. You guys, thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.